The floor plan is so bare. This is my favorite one. This is literally so small. Holy heck. I don't think that this would be approved by building code though. Let's hop back to this one though. I can never pronounce the name of this website. Architizer, I think? So yeah, architectural drawings, 10 clever plans for tiny apartments. Unlike a traditional studio flat, tiny apartment residents can benefit from the use of communal kitchens, bathrooms, and roof gardens. While micro-living has faced criticism for packing residents into tight spaces, the following apartments utilize clever solutions to maximize space while preserving comfortable living conditions for inhabitants. Combining durable materials, kinetic elements, and precise detailing, these tiny apartments reveal how to live large in small spaces and create room for everyday life. So I find this idea of micro apartments very interesting. I guess from my experience, I don't know if I've met anybody that has chosen to live in a micro apartment out of their own free will because they prefer the idea of micro apartments. I've mostly met people that end up living in very small apartments because they're the most affordable apartments. But the cool thing about this kind of design, again, is we get a lot of really interesting storage solutions, which I really, really like. I also kind of like lofts indoors. But, oh, they do have info on it. This is a renovation project of an old flat which measures 22 square meters and 3.3 meters in height. Due to the housing prices in Taipei, the living space that young people can afford has become smaller and smaller in the last decade. The living unit may not be spacious, but it still has a chance to fulfill all basic living functions. Okay, I think it's because I'm from Canada where it's mostly winter, but I don't personally love apartment or home designs where you walk directly into a functioning space like the kitchen. There's nowhere to hang your jackets, there's nowhere to put your shoes down. But again, this could be more of a cultural thing because is it commonplace to take your shoes off when you walk into the house in Taiwan? I don't know the answer to that. In Canada it is. I guess you're not eating, but having like the kitchen directly across from the entrance to the bathrooms, kind of an interesting choice as well, but I guess it is still more tucked out of the way of the more social spaces like the living room, so I guess that's not terrible. The bed in the loft. It's hard to say from these time lapses if this loft is high enough to stand in, because I find it an interesting choice that there's all these shelves along the top and it says that there's a desk up here in the bedroom and then all of your clothing storage is down here on the main floor in the living room. I know you can only do so much with a small space, but to have your desk in your bedroom loft, just as a person that works from home, I would appreciate a little bit more separation. Other than that though, I think it's really cute. Like the finishes are really nice. I really, really like this palette in this room here. Oh, you can even see a bar table over here. I wish they had a photo of the bedroom in the loft. I don't know if I could do this size with a partner, but if it were just me, I would be so stoked about this. And I think that the higher ceilings really help to make it feel less confined, so that's really nice. This one's interesting because of the cubby bed solution. I don't know how I feel about this, but the storage is crazy. It's like all the crevices of the stairs, and even having the clothing pull out as like a massive drawer almost. But this one, in contrast to the first one, I think I like it a little bit more. Let's read about it first. Where is it? In Russia. The main task was to create a comfortable open space with enough area for storage with access to natural light. The apartment was designed with a furniture system that would make the most of the existing space. A curtain separates the sleeping unit, kitchen, and living room from the entrance, which can be pushed back when it's needed. Living and dining zones are quite flexible. By moving sofa and extending dining table, it easily becomes a comfortable space for 10 guests. I find the curtain at the front door interesting, but in terms of the actual like circulation of space though, like I like this a lot more. I really do. Having the closets at the front door. I mean, this is in Russia. They get very cold winters as well, so maybe it was a bit of a cultural decision in Taipei. Even having space for a small table, I think for 2 people, that's so nice. The L-shaped kitchen is really nice too. I think the only thing that would maybe make me a little bit uncomfortable is just the idea of not really being able to see my front door when I'm laying in bed. And this is more like a feng shui thing too, but I think it's a bit psychological as well. I've been more comfortable in bedroom arrangements where I can have eyesight on the door, but This might be the best option for this arrangement anyways, though. And I imagine that this whole unit here is all storage, which is really awesome. Making this bed would be a lot. I don't think there's a window in it either. It's creative, though. This is definitely way better than some of the small apartment designs I've seen in Western Canada. Oh, this one's cute. The floor plan is so bare. This is an urban loft in Amsterdam. This tiny loft design aimed to convert a small former social housing apartment in the city center of Amsterdam into a modern urban loft. By incorporating program-like bathroom, toilet, storage, and a box bed all inside the wooden volume, the surrounding space can be freely used for other program like living, dining, and cooking. Oh my god, and this one's the bedroom. Do we only have this one photo? That's such a shame. Oh, you can kind of see it here. So it looks like the bed is almost like built into a millwork piece. I'm not the biggest fan of spaces that are like, no humans live here. It's just a clean box. I feel this way about like it's a kitchen, but not really a kitchen, where you like hide all the appliances and the cabinets and stuff, and then it's just like super, super minimal. I like more human design. I like when spaces look lived in. This looks like it could be a children's hospital waiting room or a dentist office. This number 5, see, and then the bathroom's right here. Number 6 is the toilet. That's interesting. Number 7 is the technical room. 4, they call the dining room. 2 is the living room. They don't even know where the sink is or the stove in the kitchen or anything. Man, I feel like I need way more photos than this to actually critique it, but my favorite part is the angled roof though. So this one is my least favorite of them all so far. The other thing too is it's so segmented, and I feel like in a small space, having everything so segmented from one another would really just like make it that much more isolating. I don't know, I just think it would feel a lot more confined for that reason. This one's super small. Is this the smallest one we've looked at? Sorry, I'm just looking at the finishes. This is very grayish. I love ISOs like this. I'm such a nerd about this. There's a second bed in this one. It's like a tiny cubby. Let's see what the write-up says first. This is in Italy. The project is a flat refurbishment in Camogli, a charming village near Genova. This is a small holiday flat, an attic above the old fisherman's harbor. The project was made to be 2 bedrooms, a studio, a living room, a kitchen, and a bathroom, despite the roof form and the very small floor surface. That led to a tailored apartment where each room is a piece of furniture. After you have used it, you can close it. Yeah, this is another one that feels a little bit piecey and kind of segmented, but I feel like it makes sense for the intended use. This is just a holiday home and they required 2 bedrooms. So that tells me it's probably a parent with a kid. In that case, I do think having things a little bit segmented makes sense from a privacy perspective. This bathroom actually looks like a really decent sized normal bathroom. They do have space for a table that has 3 chairs as well. Super, super tiny kitchen though. I was hoping from the images that this wall here had integrated storage for the kitchen, but it looks like this is actually closet storage for the bedroom. This might be the only cupboard up here. It almost feels like a shame that they didn't do any like kind of shelving or anything, but maybe it's not necessary because it's a vacation home? I can't tell if these are supposed to be steps down this corridor. This is a apartment that would not be comfortable for someone with mobility challenges. I wish there was more photos. Oh my gosh, we've seen this one before on stream. Yeah, Stuart Hicks. It was his video on housing sizes in North America. I reacted to this on stream. These are literally the same plans. I spent a lot of time looking at these plans and talking about them. Camel Place is a winning proposal in the ADAPT NYC, an initiative launched as part of former Mayor Bloomberg's administration's new housing marketplace plan to accommodate the city's growing small household population. The building was granted several mayoral overrides to allow the prototype to be built, including a relaxation of the minimum unit size and the maximum density, or number of units permitted in a building. The project has been watched closely as a new housing prototype in New York and for its groundbreaking use of modular construction. Yeah, so what they did with this project, it was really, really cool. They built all of these micro apartments as individual what would you call them? Like individual rectangular pieces, and then brought them to site and just like stacked them on top of one another. Very cool way to design stuff. But this is really fascinating to me, how it talks about how the building was granted several mayoral overrides, because building codes generally have very strict minimums required to build smaller and for alternative ways of building. How much time it can take to apply for, it's called a building variance, when you're trying to do something that deviates from the building code, and you have to essentially prove that what you're doing is safe and will continue to remain safe after a prolonged period of time. I understand, I guess, the relaxation of the minimum unit size. Relaxing the maximum density is really interesting to me. Is there a point where there's just too many people living in a high density space together? Imagine your neighbor sucks. And then imagine that there's like multiple neighbors like that. But again, it's in New York City, so Carmel. Oh, it's Carmel. I think I said camel. This is interesting. Is this wood? Like plywood? This is done very tastefully though. Sometimes it can look cheap. And again, the high ceilings are great. How the heck would you ever reach these? Well, that's so massive. It's great, but whoa. Oh, we got sections here too. Okay. So you can't quite stand up in the loft. Stairs are all storage. This is all storage. Okay, floor plan. So you walk right in. All the storage is here. Oh, this one even has space for a work from home office. That's really nice. Bathroom's a good size. Honestly, I'm not mad at this design. This one's quite nice. Designed as a tiny apartment in a historical building in Wrocław, Poland, 29 square meters was made to maximize space and create an independent bedroom. The ceiling height didn't allow the designer to create two equivalent levels, but it was possible to create a semi-mezzanine. Above the bathroom and the hallway, there is a large bed area and wardrobe space. Moreover, to increase space, the living room, kitchen, and dining area are combined into one room. Oh, in turn, 3XA designed the space to deceive the senses with a blind door within the apartment walls. What do you mean by that? I will say though, based off of this configuration of millwork and design in the kitchen, I don't know where you're storing a ladder to get to these uppers. These high windows though are incredible. Oh yeah, no, there isn't any kind of window or opening. It almost would have kind of been nice to not continue this wall to the underside of the ceiling and have it come down lower so that some of the light could shine over into your bedroom as well. Based off of the windows alone and the historic nature of this building, this is my favorite one. Like you can even see, the crown molding on the exposed brick wall. This one's interesting looking too. This looks like an office in a skateboard shop. That's what this reminds me of. This micro livework studio is located in Budapest's 9th district. The Neat Studio was reinvented as a micro live workspace featuring a set of pine and ash wood bespoke furniture elements that frame and anchor the main functionalities of the apartment. The plan allows the compact space to house a fully functional kitchen, lofted bedroom, event promotion headquarters, and ample space for after parties. And we only have this main floor plan. But I do kind of like that the entrance is sort of separated off because the space is so small. That's kind of nice. I wonder if you can stand up in this bedroom loft up here. But I find this net design is quite clever too. This is a really cool space. This workstation also is goals. I love this style of floor. I think I'm seeing a pattern here with a lot of these micro apartments where they have very high ceilings and very high windows. This kitchen's super small in this one though. It's just like, yeah, this one little run. That's pretty much just enough for like a fridge, a stove, and a sink. So that's kind of unfortunate. It's cool though, I like the vibe. It's giving skate shop office vibe to me though, but that's probably the intention. That's probably what they're going for. And here we have another minimalist one. I don't think I like this style very much personally. At least they have books on the bookshelf. This is literally so small. Holy heck. This 27 square meter studio apartment is located in Sydney. The project was an exercise in modest, low-cost, good quality design that's affordable. The pod utilizes full-height, wall-to-wall sliding doors and accommodates an entry foyer, storage, equipment, washing, and sleeping zones. I'm just gonna go turn into my sleeping zone for the night. Sometimes designers and architects just pick the cringiest vernacular. I'm like, just call it a bedroom. I guess it literally is basically a pod though. This man has nothing. This man just reads and goes for bike rides and then comes home and goes to bed. Put in a rug. There's no softness to this at all. There's no upholstery, there's no window coverings. You can have a masculine space but not have it be so cold. I think the Amsterdam one is still my least favorite. This one's salvageable if you just like added some personal touches to it. Maybe this is just because the photos are staged. I do really like the color palette, like with the navy or charcoal with the red and the yellow. I think that it's like a really creative pop of color. This one is interesting though. What am I looking at? Okay, this is in Spain. At 20 square meters, this singular urban shelter is an enclosed space where a single person can live and work. The apartment, even with its small size, offers generous spatial arrangements and different functional uses. The pieces that make it up do not have a fixed or clearly defined use. The focus is on an unadorned way of life that is both simple and bright. Okay, skylight is unreal though. Don't ever accidentally roll too far over because you will roll this chair right off of the edge. And I find these isometrics a little bit difficult to understand, even as someone that has a lot of experience in the 3D space. I know what they're conveying. The door opens up into the kitchen, but I think there's something nice. The small separation between opening into like a lower landing and then stepping up in the kitchen. This kitchen is very, very small though. And then you go down the 4 steps into the living room area here. They have a very terrible, I don't know if it's a day bed or just a sofa with no back. And then you go down 3 more steps into the lower bathroom. This one's kind of nice. They have a full tub in it. I kind of like the idea of the privacy that a low bathroom like this offers. This would not go over well as an apartment for anybody that's older or mobility challenged. There's so many freaking stairs. Actually, I think this rectangle here must be a hatch that opens up into the floor because they have all this storage underneath. I wonder if that's the only window though. Is it just the skylight? I personally would find that kind of claustrophobic. This feels like a little bear den, a nook to sleep in. I'll give it points for creativity. This is definitely the most interesting one of all of them. And the ladder, I'm not a fan of ladders. This has come up many times with tiny house design. And I think we only have one more left. This one has like an actual proper staircase, a full height, regular run, regular rise staircase. This is a very classic loft apartment design. Another New York apartment. This tiny penthouse duplex apartment renovation in a brownstone building on the Upper West Side held a number of challenges to make it a livable space. The client wished to use it as a, what the heck is this term? A pied-à-terre in the city for himself and his family. What does that mean? A small apartment house or room kept for occasional use. I've never heard of this term before. Pied-à-terre. Okay, I'm learning new things. So it's not his full-time residence, it's just a part-time pit stop house. And his family, so there's more than just him and a partner. And this is another one, I think the windows are probably very high. I mean, okay, I'm more of a fan if we're gonna go like New York loft. I would prefer to have more of like the classic industrial style of loft design. This just feels like IKEA to me, and I can't zoom into them unfortunately, so we're gonna have to squint and do our best. This is a very, very classic loft style. I've seen this many times before. It's a classic for a reason. You get a good balance between the flow of the kitchen and living room with the bathroom below. Now that we have this better angle, I really love this like vertical cable divide because it's not really a railing. I don't think that this would be approved by building code though. At least in Western Canada, I don't think we'd be allowed to do this anywhere. And it needs to be spaced apart at denominations that are like a certain width apart. Far enough apart that a kid could not stick their head in and get stuck, but close enough together that a kid couldn't just like crawl through and then fall off the side of the edge, which absolutely could happen even here at the top. So a lot of vertical high ceiling loft designs. But this was fun to see. Is like there's some that are really different. This is really, really different. This one's my least favorite. Ooh, which one is the best one? I think this is my favorite one. This fun checkered diamond floor is so cute. Okay, fun article.